sitting here every time and being told, no, well, we don't think he can do that. He'll never accomplish that. The narrative and the default narrative is always negative, and it's demoralizing.
The White House press secretary pushing for the media to give President Trump a chance and defending his combative start. That comes after White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus told Fox News Sunday's Chris Wallace the media has an obsession with delegitimizing this president. Let's talk about it with Robert Wolf, former economic advisor to President Obama, and Rich Lowry, editor of National Review. Both are Fox News contributors. Welcome, both. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right, so Robert, fair characterization that the media is always looking for the negative with Trump?
Well, I think that they had a tough weekend. I would say Saturday, they'd probably like to have a mulligan. And I think when you have hashtag alternative facts as kind of the most viral hashtag of the weekend, I think a do-over is needed. I do think he had a very good day yesterday, Sean Spicer, because they had real depth and breadth to, you know, based on what the executive actions were going to come and things like that. But I think they had a tough weekend.
Well, and Rich, you can't give them anything that leads to an unforced error. Don't give them any material.
Right. Yeah, so on Saturday, all Sean Spicer had to do is say, look, Time magazine said the MLK bust was removed from the Oval Office. That was wrong. That was irresponsible. Instead, he created his own errors and mistakes, and he kind of reset it yesterday, and that was fine. But it is true, the media has been unrelentingly hostile to Trump from the beginning, and the entire run-up to the election, they were all treated as idiots. They won the election, and then they're treated as idiots again. So I can see why he would vent his frustration. But also, you know, my rule here, don't complain, don't explain. Go on, you know, every day, 3 yards and a cloud of dust. Talk about your meeting with business leaders. Talk about your meetings with the union guys. Focus on the substance. The ultimate revenge for Trump is success.
Well, here's a bit of what our own Bill O'Reilly had to say last night about how the media is treating President Trump versus President Obama and what their interest in this whole thing is.
Talking Point sees it clearly. Many in the media had a vested interest in seeing President Obama succeed. And those same exact people have a vested interest in seeing Donald Trump fail. He knows it, you know it, and I know it. The only reason to compare crowds at the inauguration, the only reason, was to embarrass Donald Trump. Everyone knows Washington, D.C. and its suburbs are Democrat strongholds. Come on.
Robert, being fair?
Yeah, you know, what I would say is President Trump should have been just very clear. I'm president for 300 million plus people, not for a quarter of a million.
He has said that.
And I think that's one. Secondly, he doesn't need to take the bait. He's a counterpuncher, and I think that's how he's run for 18 months. You know, his candidacy ran on punching back, and I think he doesn't need to punch back. I actually would agree with Rich. He should just stay with the substance, stay on message of the things he did yesterday with his executive actions. You know, when you get in punch and counterpunch, the media is going to keep playing that.
But, Rich, is he going to change at this point?
No.
7 decades of this
unlikely.
working for him and being very successful and people responding to it. Why change now?
Yeah, I would just say, you know, you're in a different role as President of the United States. You can counterpunch, but you don't have to do it all yourself. You have surrogates. You have Kellyanne who can go out there and counterpunch, and Reince and all your media allies. Let them take this burden on. And I think O'Reilly is right. The obsession with the crowd size initially in the press was to mock and belittle President Trump, but don't take the bait.
All right, we'll see as we proceed in. Robert and Rich, it is great to see you both.
Yep, thank you for having us on.